The Arizona Wildcats football team is the football team of the University of Arizona, located in Tucson, Arizona, United States. The team competes in the Pacific 12 Conference at the NCAA Football Bowl Subdivision level. The team is currently coached by Rich Rodriguez. In 2014, the Wildcats won the Pacific 12 Conference South Division for the first time and also became the first team in school history to play in the Pacific 12 Football Championship game, though they lost to the University of Oregon 51-13. History = Early coaching history = The football team began at the University of Arizona in 1899 under the nickname Varsity. Stuart Forbes became the first head coach of Arizona football history and the team compiled a 1-1 record. From 1900 to 1901, William W. Skinner served as head football coach at the University of Arizona. While there, he also studied geology. He guided Arizona to 3-1 and 4-1 records, respectively. On November 7, 1914, the team traveled to the West Coast to play Occidental, then one of the reigning gridiron powers in California. Occidental won 14-0. Arizona later received the name Wildcats after a Los Angeles Times correspondent, Bill Henry, wrote that the Arizona men showed the fight of Wildcats. Pop McHale was a very successful high school coach in the Tucson area when he was hired at UA. In 1921, drop kicker receiver Harold "Nosey" McClellan led the nation in scoring with 124 points. Wildcats finished the regular season 7-1, and were invited to UA's first bowl game, the East-West Christmas Classic in San Diego, to play Powerhouse Center College of Kentucky. Arizona lost the game 38-0. The Wildcats did not compete in football in 1918 due to World War I. On October 18, 1926, UA quarterback and student body president John Button Salmon died from injuries sustained in a car wreck. His final words, spoken to coach Pop McHale, were, tell the team to bear down." Soon thereafter, the UA student body adopted "Bear Down" as the school's athletic motto. On October 18, 1929, Arizona opened up Arizona Stadium for college football play. They won their first game against Caltech with a shutout score of 25-0. McHale retired after 16 seasons at Arizona. The McHale Center, the University of Arizona's home basketball venue, was opened in 1973 and named in McHale's honor. Fred Enck replaced McHale as head coach of the Wildcats, and in one season as head coach, he posted a record of 3-5-1 before getting demoted to assistant coach. Gus Ferrick served as the head football coach at the University of Arizona in 1932, compiling a record of 4-5 before his resignation. Tex Oliver coached the Arizona Wildcats to a 32-11-4 record in 5 seasons. During that stretch, his teams never had a losing season. Oliver's Blue Brigade played an expanded, more nationwide schedule, and Arizona produced their first All-Americans under Oliver. The team's 1938 record of 8-2 was a school best to date. Oliver resigned after the 1937 season to accept the head football coach position at Oregon. Orion Landreth replaced Oliver and struggled in his one season as head coach, compiling a 3-6 record before he was fired. That season was the first losing season for the Wildcats in several years. Miles Castile came to Arizona from his post as an assistant coach at Michigan State. In his 8 seasons, Castile compiled a 46-26-3 record and led the Wildcats to the first bowl berth in 3 decades in his final season, a loss in the 1949 Salad Bowl to Drake. Robert Winslow served as Arizona's head football coach for 3 seasons, posting a record of 12-18-1, with the team improving every year under his tutelage, going to 7-1, 4-6 and 6-5 in Winslow's 3 years. Winslow resigned after 3 seasons. In 1954, under coach Warren Woodson, who came to Arizona from Hardin-Simmons, the Wildcats were led by starting halfback Art Lupino. He went on to lead the nation in rushing, scoring, all-purpose running, and kickoff returns. Lupino became the first player in NCAA history to lead the nation in rushing twice. He also tied for the national title in all-purpose running and was third in scoring. Woodson was replaced after 5 seasons under 26 a Euro 22 a Euro 2 record and was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame as a coach in 1989. Ed Doherty came to Arizona from his post as an assistant coach for the NFL's Philadelphia Eagles. In 2 seasons, Doherty compiled a record of 4 a Euro 15 a Euro 1 before getting fired. Doherty is the only person to serve as head football coach at both Arizona and arch-rival Arizona State. Jim LaRue, formerly running backs coach at Houston, was hired to take over the Arizona Wildcats football program as head coach after Doherty's firing. LaRue's 1961 team finished 8 a Euro 1 a Euro 1 and finished the season ranked number 17 in the final AP poll. After that season, Arizona joined the Western Athletic Conference and LaRue's teams posted records of 5 a Euro 5, 5 a Euro 5, 6 a Euro 3 a Euro 1, 3 a Euro 7 and 3 a Euro 7 before LaRue was fired, largely because of the subpar on-the-field performances but also pressure from fans and alumni. Darrell Mudra came to Arizona from North Dakota State and breathed life into a seemingly lifeless Arizona football program. His first team posted a record of 3 a Euro 6 a Euro 1 but in his second year, Mudra's Wildcats posted a record of 8 a Euro 3, capped with a loss in the 1968 Sun Bowl, only the Wildcats' third bowl appearance in school history and first since 1949. Mudra left Arizona after 2 seasons to accept the head football coach position at Western Illinois. His final record is 11 a Euro 9 a Euro 1. Mudra was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame as a coach in 2000. Bob Weber was promoted from offensive coordinator to head coach following Mudra's departure. Under Weber, the Wildcats were 16 a Euro 26, with their best season being a 5 a Euro June 1971 season. Weber failed to post a winning season as Arizona's head coach and was fired after 4 seasons. Jim Young, formerly defensive coordinator at Michigan, was hired to turn around the downtrodden Wildcats football program. Improvement came immediately, as Young's team surprised the nation with an 8 a Euro 3 record in his first season. Young's Wildcats went on to post records of 9 a Euro 2 in 1974 and 1975, the latter ending with a number 13 and number 18 ranking in the coaches and AP polls, respectively. In a rebuilding year, Young's team posted a 5 a Euro 6 record in 1976 to cap Young's mark of 31 a Euro 13 in 4 seasons. Young departed Arizona after the 1976 season to accept the head football coach position at Purdue. He was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame as a coach in 1999. Tony Mason came to Arizona from Cincinnati. Under Mason, the Wildcats went 5 a Euro 7, 5 a Euro 6 and 6 a Euro 5 a Euro 1 for a grand total of 16 a Euro 18 a Euro 1. In Mason's third and final season, the Wildcats played in the Fiesta Bowl, a game they lost. Mason retired as head coach after 3 seasons. Larry Smith, previously head coach at Tulane, was hired to take over the Arizona football program after Mason's retirement. His first season was Arizona's third in the Pac-12 conference. Smith put great emphasis on in-state recruiting, built up the rivalry game with ASU, and focused the team on what he called running and hitting. His first team went 5 a Euro 6, including a 44 a Euro 7 blowout loss to ASU. It would be his only losing season at Arizona. The highlight of the season was a 23-17 upset of second-ranked UCLA. The team improved to 6 a Euro 5 during his second season, highlighted by a major 13 a Euro 10 upset of number 1 USC on the road. Under his leadership, the Wildcats became competitive in the conference, began dominating the rivalry with the Sun Devils, and culminated with consecutive bowl appearances in the 1985 Sun Bowl, where a tie with Georgia gave the Wildcats an 8 a Euro 3 a Euro 1 record, and the 1986 Aloha Bowl, where a victory over North Carolina allowed the Wildcats to finish with a 9 a Euro 3 record in his final season. Smith's tenure with the Wildcats ended with a 48-28-3 record. 7 Arizona players earned All-America honors during his tenure, including two-time consensus All-American linebacker Ricky Hunley and All-Americans linebacker Lamonte Hunley, Morris Trophy-winning center Joe Tofemeyer, safety Alan Durden, place kicker Max Zendges, linebacker Byron Evans, and safety Chuck Cecil. Over 20 of Smith's Wildcats players went on to play professionally. Smith departed after the 1986 season to accept the head football coach position at USC. Dick Tomey came to Arizona from Hawaii. During his tenure, he coached 5 future NFL first-round draft choices, 20 All-Americans, and 43 Pac-10 first-team players. His best teams were in the mid-1990s, highlighted by a tenacious Desert Swarm defense. He led Arizona to the only 2 10-win seasons in school history, highlighted by a 12-1 campaign in 1998, in which they finished 4th in both major polls, the highest ranking in school history. Unfortunately, the Wildcats were drubbed in the 1999 season opener against Penn State and never recovered. Tomey resigned after the 2000 season. His 95 wins are the most in Wildcats history. In 1992, Coach Tomey's Desert Swarm defense was characterized by tough, hard-nosed tactics. UA led the nation in scoring defense and nose guard Rob Aldrop is a consensus All-American. In 1993, the team had its first 10-win season and beat the Miami Hurricanes in the 1994 Fiesta Bowl by a score of 29-0. It was the bowl game's only shutout in its then 23-year history. In 1994, Arizona was ranked number 6. However, Arizona was stunned by Colorado State and the rest of the season went down along with it, continuing a streak of not being selected for the Rose Bowl. Arizona to this day, is the only team in the original Pac-10 that has never played in the Rose Bowl game. In 1998, the team posted a school record 12-1 season and made the Holiday Bowl in which it defeated the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Arizona ended that season ranked 4th nationally in the Coaches and Associated Press poll. The 1998 Holiday Bowl was televised on ESPN and set the now-surpassed record of being the most watched of any bowl game in that network's history. In 2000, Tomey's Wildcats suffered a season-ending 30-17 loss to Arizona State, the Wildcats' primary arch-rival. Dick Tomey resigned under pressure after 14 seasons as head coach of the Wildcats. The Wildcat football declined in wins and went on a bowl game drought over the next several years. Former Illinois and Texas head coach and at that time ESPN football analyst John McCorvick was hired to replace Tomey. He served a disastrous tenure as head coach during this period. McCorvick alienated his players and never posted a winning record in 2.5 seasons in Tucson, with a 10-18 record. Midway through the 2002 season, McCorvick told tight end Justin Leverser that he was a disgrace to his family. This and other incidents led 40 players to hold a secret meeting with school president Peter Lickens. The players complained about McCorvick's constant verbal abuse, such as an ugly tirade after a loss to Wisconsin. McCorvick offered a public apology to his players, the university and fans. However, whatever goodwill that he had managed to restore quickly evaporated a season later. Quarterback Nick Costa said that despite a very talented roster, many players had lost their love for the game due to McCorvick's brusque manner. 5 games into the 2003 season, McCorvick was fired and replaced on an interim basis by defensive coordinator Mike Hankwitz. School officials said they had to act because it was obvious the Wildcats would not win with McCorvick at the helm. Mike Stoops era. In 2004, 4 years after Tomey's firing, Arizona hired Oklahoma defensive coordinator Mike Stoops to take over the Wildcat program. Under Stoops, Arizona started 6-18. His job was in critical danger and his margin for error was very thin. However, in his 3rd season in 2006, Stoops led the Wildcats to an improved 6-6 record, the first non-losing season for the school since 1998 when the Wildcats went 12-1. In 2008, the Wildcats earned their first bowl berth in a decade, defeating BYU by a score of 31-21. In 2009, the Wildcats earned their second straight bowl berth and a second straight 8-win season. On November 21, 2009, the Oregon Ducks came to Arizona Stadium in a game that would decide which team went to the Rose Bowl. ESPN's College Game Day crew dubbed it as the Game of the Week and ventured down to Tucson to cover it. After a back-and-forth battle, the Oregon Ducks won in double overtime 44-41 to clinch the Rose Bowl bid. Arizona was defeated 33-0 by Nebraska in a rematch of the 1998 Holiday Bowl. Following the Holiday Bowl, offensive coordinator Sonny Dykes left the Wildcat program to become the head coach at Louisiana Tech, and defensive coordinator Mark Stoops, a brother of Mike, became the defensive coordinator at Florida State. To replace them, Mike Stoops promoted Bill Bedenbaugh and Seth Littrell to co-offensive coordinators, while promoting Tim Kish to be co-defensive coordinators with Greg Brown, who was hired from Colorado. Midway through his 8th season, Stoops was fired as head coach on October 10, 2011, after starting the season 1-5. Including the prior season, the Wildcats under Stoops had lost 10 consecutive games against FBS opponents, with their last victory over an FBS team taking place nearly a year earlier on October 30, 2010, against UCLA. Tim Kish, the team's defensive coordinator, was named interim head coach for the remainder of the season. Rich Rodriguez era. On November 21, 2011, Arizona announced the hiring of Rich Rodriguez, at that time a CBS Sports analyst and formerly head coach at Michigan and West Virginia, to replace Stoops. Rodriguez is considered a pioneer of a no-huddle, run-oriented version of the spread offense, although a pass-first version was already being implemented by others. He first developed this offensive approach at Glenville State and refined it during his stops at Tulane with Sean King, at Clemson with Woodrow Dantzler, and at West Virginia most notably with dual-threat quarterback Pat White. This strategy features frequent use of the shotgun formation. Rodriguez is also credited for inventing the zone read play run out of the shotgun formation. According to his contract, Rodriguez was scheduled to earn $1.45 million in his first year, $1.5 million in his second, $1.6 million in his third, $1.7 million in his fourth and $1.8 million in his fifth season for a total of $9.55 million over a span of 5 years. The contract also includes an extra $300,000 per year from Nike, as well as bonuses for academic achievement, BCS rankings, season ticket totals and bowl appearances. There are extra bonuses for milestones such as playing in the BCS title game, playing in any other bowl, and for winning the Pac-12. Rodriguez's hiring ended a 41-day search for a head coach which started after Mike Stoops was dismissed after 8 seasons as Wildcat head coach. Following West Virginia's victory in the 2012 Orange Bowl, Mountaineers defensive coordinator Jeff Castile, who coached under Rodriguez during his tenure there, departed WVU's staff to join Rodriguez's staff as the Wildcats defensive coordinator. An official announcement, and Castile's formal introduction to the Tucson media, was made on January 13, 2012. Castile is considered one of the top defensive coaches in the nation, and considered master of the 3-5-odd stack defense. In his first season, Rodriguez took the Wildcats to the 2012 New Mexico Bowl, where they defeated Nevada. The Wildcats finished the 2012 campaign with a record. In his second season, Rodriguez took the Wildcats to the 2013 Advocare V100 Bowl, where they defeated Boston College. The Wildcats finished the 2013 campaign with a record. In 2014, Rich Rodriguez led the Wildcats to a 10-3 regular season, behind generally solid team performance, including efforts from freshman QB Anu Solomon, sophomore LB Scooby Wright, senior AB Terrace Jones-Grigsby and freshman AB Nick Wilson. The Wildcats won the Pac-12 South Division, the first divisional championship in program history, advancing to the Pac-12 football championship game at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California, where they were defeated by the Oregon Ducks, 51-13. The Wildcats earned a berth in the 2014 Fiesta Bowl, the school's third major bowl appearance, where they faced the Boise State Broncos. Arizona lost the game to Boise State, 38-30. The Wildcats finished the 2014 season with a record of 10-4, achieving only the second 10-win regular season in program history. The Wildcats also finished the season ranked number 17 in the USA Today Coaches Poll and number 19 in the AP poll. In his fourth year as the head coach. Conference affiliations: Arizona has competed as a member of 5 different conferences since 1899. Personnel = head coaches =. The current head coach of Arizona Wildcats football is Rich Rodriguez, who hired in 2012. Coaching staff = Current roster. Records, championships, and notable games. All-time record = At the completion of the 2015 season, Arizona's all-time win record is 598-443-33. Conference championships = Dating back to their days in the Western Athletic Conference, Arizona has claimed at least a share of 6th conference titles. National championships = Undefeated seasons = Divisional championships = In 2011, the Pacific 10 Conference added Colorado and Utah, bringing the membership total to 12 teams, leading to the creation of the Pacific 12 Conference. At that time, the conference split into 2 6-team divisions, North and South, and created a conference championship game. The champions of each division face off in the conference championship game, with the team with the highest conference record hosting the game. In 2014, the Wildcats won the South Division in their first game of the season, becoming the first team to win the Pac-12 South Division outright. Note: bold years indicate outright conference titles co-championship, shared with UCLA, who defeated Arizona by 20 points in their only head-to-head matchup. Arizona has yet to win an outright Pac-10 12th Conference championship. Bowl games = Arizona is the only school of the original Pac-10/12 to never have participated in a Rose Bowl. The conference's major bowl game. This is a partial list of the 5 most recent bowl games that Arizona has competed in. For the full Arizona bowl game history, see List of Arizona Wildcats bowl games. Arizona played in no BCS bowl games during the existence of the BCS. Denotes Bowl Coalition game. Denotes New Year's Six bowl game. Record by bowl game. All-time record versus current Pac-12 teams =. Updated through the 2015 NCAA Division IFBS football season. Official record against the current football members of the Pacific 12 Conference as of the completions of the 2015 season. All-time conference record = Official record against all current and former conference opponents of the Arizona Wildcats football program. In their 121-year history, the University of Arizona has been a member of the Pacific Coast Conference, Athletic Association of Western Universities, and the Pacific 8, Pacific 10 and currently the Pacific 12 conferences. The History section of the Pacific 12 Conference article provides a membership history of the Pacific 12 Conference. Rankings = College football playoff final rankings = The Arizona Wildcats football team finished in the top 25 in the first college football playoff final rankings and both the preseason and final rankings for the Associated Press poll and coaches poll for the Arizona Wildcats. The college football playoff rankings began in 2014. 2014-10, 2015, and are polls The Arizona Wildcats football team has never been ranked number 1 in the preseason April poll and the preseason coaches poll. The Arizona Wildcats football team has never finished the season ranked number 1 in the final AP poll. The Wildcats has not ranked number 1 in the final coaches poll. The Wildcats also never finished number 2 in the final Associated Press poll and the final coaches poll. The AP poll began in 1936 and the coaches poll began in 1950. Preseason finishes AP, Coaches equals top 25 finishes equals rivalries. The Wildcats have two main football rivals, Arizona State Sun Devils and New Mexico Lobos. All two rivalries were first contested over 100 years ago, though the series records are disputed in two cases. Equals Arizona State equals New Mexico equals all-time record versus rivals equals traditions cardiac cats nickname equals colors equals helmets equals logos and uniforms equals. Starting in the 2010 season, Arizona wore new uniforms. They are simplified versions of the uniforms worn from 2005 to Euro 2009, with the addition of a white helmet with a red-white-blue stripe. The team may use any combination of its two helmets, 3 jerseys and 3 pants. On September 29, 2012 the Wildcats unveiled a new copper helmet, and for the Territorial Cup game later that season, they unveiled an all-red helmet. On September 20, 2015 the Wildcats unveiled a new chrome red helmet which they will wear in their game on September 26, 2015 against the UCLA Bruins. Game day equals, the Wildcat Walk, first done in 2010, is one of Arizona's newest tradition. Before every home game, the team's buses take them from their hotel and drop them off several blocks north of the stadium. The fans and the marching band line Cherry Avenue as the team walks to the stadium. During pre-game warm-ups, the team performs a haka. Starting in 2012, the team will perform the haka in front of the student section, where students will also do the haka. At the beginnings of the second and fourth quarters, the cheerleaders lead the crowd in a synchronized U of A chant. The east side of the stadium yells U. The north and south sides yell of. And the west side yells A. At the beginning of the second half, for the duration of the kickoff, a large Block A banner is unfurled and held up by the center of the Zona Zoo. At the end of the third quarter, the team and many members of the crowd hold up 4 fingers, signifying the beginning of the fourth quarter. In a similar tradition to other schools' mascots, after every Arizona score, Wilbur the Wildcat does as many push-ups as the Wildcats have points while the crowd counts his push-ups. However, unlike other mascots, Wilbur does his push-ups one-handed. At the end of every home game the band plays Arizona's alma mater, All Hail, Arizona. Students and fans link arms, sway as they sing and jump up and down while singing the last part of the song. After every home game, fans and the band march to the administration building where the band performs a concert for the gathered fans. At the conclusion of the concert, the bell in the Student Union clock tower is rung, and the band responds by yelling "Bear Down." Individual accomplishments. Years listed for bowl victories are seasons for which they occurred. Individual school records equals rushing records, passing records, receiving records, kickoff return records, punt return records, kicking records, punting records. Attendance and television equals individual national award winners equals retired jerseys equals student athlete jerseys are retired but not individual player numbers. Wildcats in professional football NFL players equals Arizona has seen 269 players drafted to National Football League teams since 1951. Former NFL players drafted Pro Football Hall of Fame equals Canadian Football Hall of Fame Class of 1989 Ted Ernest Arizona and Saskatchewan Roughriders, Canadian Football Hall of Fame Class of 2011 Terry Vaughan Arizona, Calgary Stampers, Edmonton Eskimos, Montreal Alouettes, and Hamilton Tiger Cats. Super Bowl winners equals NFL MVP award equals Super Bowl MVP award equals CFL MOP award equals Grey Cup MVP award equals NFL Pro Bowl MVP award equals quarterback Nick Foles. Schedule current schedule equals future non-conference opponents, source, a Euro in Las Vegas, Nevada. Future non-division opponents, Arizona plays 6 Pac-12 North teams as a permanent non-division opponent annually and rotates around the North Division among the other 6 schools. Each season Arizona will miss 6 schools from the Pac-12 North Division, either Cal or Stanford and one of the 4 Northwest schools. This scheduling cycle repeats after 8 seasons. Pac-12 South Arizona plays the other 5 Pac-12 South schools once per season. Venues and facilities. Arizona Stadium. See also, List of Border Intercollegiate Athletic Association football champions, List of Pacific 12 Conference football champions. References. External links, official website.